So Captain America, Cap, Brave New World brings in paltry 12 million in Thursday previews. So this movie that's gone on, undergone several reshoots, costing it more and more money. Test audiences, like 4 or 5 test audiences, it failed. And that was just before release, over the last year or two. And now the release has finally happened, and it's exactly what people were thinking it was going to be. Another case of the people, the Debbie Downers like me and whoever else, being right. And yet we're still considered like conspiracy theorists. Maybe we just notice trends. Maybe we just see trends, people saying certain things, and it just clicks, and it's like, yep, this is what's going to happen. Because people said this was what was going to happen. Especially when, again, you have several reshoots, and each and every reshoot they had a test audience, and the test audience still didn't like it. And I said, if it's this close to release, and the test audience still isn't liking it, it's not gonna work. But we're just crazy conspiracy theorists. We're just a bunch of haters who don't know what we're talking about. Marvel Studios' latest Captain America, latest film, Captain America: Brave New World, only brought in 12 million in box office grosses on Thursday night, which should have been a lot bigger than that. That number does not look especially good, especially compared to recent Marvel Studios releases. The only film that had worst Thursday night preview over the last 2 years was The Marvels, which only brought in 6.6 million. The film crashed down and only grossed a total of 84.5 million domestically, and just about 200 million globally. And considering these movies are probably taking 300, 400, 500 million to make, yeah, that's a fail. That's a flop. The most recent Marvel Studios production before Brave New World was Deadpool and Wolverine. It had a Thursday night preview of 38.5 million. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 had a 17.5 million Thursday night opening. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania also grossed 17.5 million. So significantly shorter than even Guardians of the Galaxy and Ant-Man and the Wasp. Looking back on previous Captain America films, one sees just how paltry this number is. Captain America: Civil War grossed 25 million back on May 5th, 2016. That is without factoring in inflation. Captain America: The Winter Soldier grossed 10 million, 10.2 million in April 2014. However, if you factor in inflation, that comes to 13.6 million, which was what? This was 13, so like 12 million. So a little better than the what it is than the newer one. For those who have seen the film, it does not appear to be good. On IMDb, the current film has a 5.9 out of 10 rating from over 9,000 reviews. It has a 5.7 unweighted mean. I wonder what's on Rotten Tomatoes. Okay, so 78. Before it was just the critics, and it was just 52%. But the fact that it's only 78%. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has a better audience score, but it's still clocking in as a mediocre 78%. The critic score currently sits at a rotten 52%. I mean, is anyone surprised? Industry experts are tracking estimate the film will gross 80 million in the traditional 3-day weekend. and around 90 million through the 4-day President's Day weekend. The film is expected to gross another 100 million internationally for a global gross throughout the 4-day of 190 million. So, I mean, again, I think they said they did like $400 million just in reshoots. So, we're looking at a pretty expensive film here. So, it's 100 million and 190 million. 109 million when it took, again, several million, 100 million to make. That's including reshoots. Yeah. Once again, we were right. We were right. No comments on here. Again, this was a movie that just reshoot after reshoot after reshoot, and every single time it was shown to test audiences, no one liked it. And keep in mind, people are going to say, oh, they're just racist. Well, guess what? Those audiences are diverse. They're not going to pick just white people. There's going to be white, black, Asian, Hispanic, you name it. They want as broad of an audience as possible. No one liked it. Hence the constant reshoots. So it has nothing to do with racism. There's something about this movie that was just bad. There was just something that was bad. Whether it be, this guy coming out and making some stupid comments, or whatever the case is. But there was something about the movie they didn't like. And because of that, it caused them to have like 3-4 reshoots and every test audience to fail, or test audience to the point where they just didn't like it. So if you've seen the movie already, let me know, what is it that caused this movie to fail? Does it are people are saying that it does have, the modern flavor to it. So, modern. You know what we mean by modern. So is that true? Is there modern, storytelling going on here? Or is it like, yeah, there is, but it's easily just kind of ignored. But if there isn't, then what do you think happened to make this movie fail? Because again, movies, games, I think I said this with the Skeleton Crew. Things don't just fail. There's always a reason for things failing. And the fact that it brought in less money, numbers don't lie. So the fact that less money means less people are seeing it, there must be a reason for that. Is it Marvel fatigue? Is it the fact that people know how a modern day movie is going to be? Is it people just not interested in seeing a new Captain America? So there's a number of reasons for why it didn't happen. And again, none of those reasons are, oh, you're just racist. No, because I guarantee you that in those test audiences, there were black folks who didn't like the movie. You're going to call them racist too? They have internalized racism. Because that's always the excuse. It's internalized. So you're coping. Hope you don't hurt your neck or your back with all those freaking mental gymnastics you have to do. But there was clearly something about this movie that test audience after test audience after test, and you would think if you did so many reshoots, you would think that they would get it right. But up until the point of release, the last test audience they had, they still didn't like it. You would think that after a while, it's like, okay, well, because you have a test audience, and I assume they give you feedback. You implement feedback, you should succeed. So what was the problem here? Did they just like say, oh yeah, we'll listen to your feedback and then not actually listen to it? Because there shouldn't be a reason why a movie fails with test audiences 4 times. So if there's no woke stuff or whatever in the movie, awesome. Then I'd like to know a legitimate reason of why it failed. So if you've seen the movie, let me know. But we were right again. Imagine that. But anyway, that's going to do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.